Hi, it's Rachel here from off-road.cc again, and I just thought I'd run through my thoughts about a bike I've been riding recently, the Norco Range A3. Here at Off-Road, we like to test the cheaper end of the spectrum, so with that in mind, we've got the bottom of the range alloy A3 with 27.5-inch wheels in for test, and this bike costs a not too shocking £2,300. There's no shying away from it. Our Range A3 is one hell of a good looking bike. From the ruby red paint to the industrial rocker link and to the large prominent bearings, I rather like it. So the spec, our Range came with RockShox Yari forks and a RockShox Deluxe RL Debonair rear shock with a trinium mount. The group set consists of a mixed bag of parts. There's a Sunrace 11 to 46 tooth 11 speaker set, a Race Face Effect 32 tooth chainring with Race Face Effect cranks and a threaded bottom bracket. And then to add to the end of that, Shimano SLX rear mech. So also in there we've got a Trans X dropper post, which is a 125mm post, and then the stopping is provided by the OEM only Tektro 4-piston brakes with large 203 and 180mm rotors. Up in the cockpit you get Norco 800mm wide bars, 50mm stem and Norco grips. And finally, down on the ground, the Range rolls on WTV i29 rims with Novatec hubs, and then two Maxxis High Roller 2 tyres, which are 2.4-inch wide. Both the Evans website and the Norco one says that this bike comes with 2.3-inch tyres, but ours rocked up with 2.4s, and they were taped and tubeless ready too, which is pretty good. So it's a spec that isn't bad value given the amount of travel on offer. But the chinks in the armour are soon noticeable on that cluttered handlebar, where there's 4 separate clamps needed to attach the brakes, the shifters and the dropper post. It left me positioning the shifter and the dropper post levers much further inboard than I'd like, so further away from my thumbs. The drivetrain pieces, however, did all work harmoniously together throughout the test period. Those brakes are on par with the feel of a SRAM Guide R brake, but they offer a little less power and they get hot pretty quickly too. Unlike the SRAM brakes, these are tricky to adjust the reach of, so you need a tool, and to do things properly you'll need to remove them from the bars first. I wouldn't want them to use them with anything other than the large rotors provided on this bike. They heat up pretty quickly, but they have been reliable in the testing period if lacking a little bit of feel. So how did it ride? Aboard the Norco Range, and it's immediately noticeable that this bike has played safe in geometry terms. Yes, it is longer, but it's still falling behind its competitors. Take the Spec Enduro we reviewed recently. Forget the price, it's £700 more expensive, but it is also roomier in the reach and the wheelbase by 14mm and 13mm respectively. It might not sound like a lot, but from experience, wheelbase on bikes like this that are edging up to the 1200mm mark are that much more stable in a straight line and when the going gets fast, whilst they're not being too long to scare off potential customers who aren't fully sold on that long and slack thing. With a reach of 430mm, it's hard to find the midpoint of this bike, and it's difficult to centre your weight. You end up hanging off the back with no weight on the front wheel and therefore less grip. I know I sound like a broken record, and I've said these things before, but good geometry design surely is free, and bikes such as the Range have played it uber safe where the numbers are concerned. What the Norco does provide though is a super plush rear end. The suspension system is pretty good, and paired with the trinium mount, it's soft and supple at the start of the stroke, meaning small bump sensitivity is superb. It's a fun bike to plough down the hills and slam into turns. There's plenty of feedback and there's no nasty surprises where the suspension is concerned. So that rear shock and the suspension, it's supportive in the mid-stroke and provides a good deal of ramp up at the end of the stroke too, meaning those big hits are dealt with without a hint of harsh bottom out. I did find that I needed to run the shock fully open with no rebound damping applied though to get the feel that I wanted. So the rear end of the Range sticks to the ground really well, especially in combination with that wide rim and tyre combination. So whilst the high rollers at a spec might not be my first choice for climbing traction or cornering support, it certainly does the job where braking in a straight line is concerned. It's a bit of a fight to keep the front and the rear end providing equal amounts of traction when cornering and heading downhill fast. The short nature of the Range means that it takes an aggressive stance to keep the front and rear end tracking. Norco's Gravity Tune lengthens the chainstays across the Range in an aim to keep the bike in proportion as the front centres get longer and the bikes get larger. It's a great theory and one I'd like to see other companies adopt. But personally, as a rider of mostly medium-sized bikes, I would say that on the whole, I probably benefit from bikes that are more in proportion than other people do who ride large or extra large bikes with the same length chainstays. At 430mm, the Range's chainstays are a little on the short side, but given the overall length of this bike, it's not too disproportionate and in line with other enduro bikes on the market. Lengthening the chainstays would go some way to improve the Norco's climbing ability. It's certainly a bike to sit and spin rather than power up technical terrain. The 74.5-degree effective seat angle is still in the slack category as mainstream bikes inch up towards the 78-degree mark. The short nature of the bike means that the front end wants to lift easily when climbing too, so more length and a steeper effective seat angle here would allow the rider to place their weight in the centre of the bike, weight the front end and climb more efficiently. And whilst the Range may feel comfortable to sit on, remember there's a 50mm stem up there covering up the short reach. The trends are right. It's more than just a fad, and a shorter stem would place the hands further behind the axle and provide more direct steering. The short nature of the long travel bike does allow it to be moved around the trail with relatively ease though. I can't help but think that the good and plentiful suspension is being let down by the geometry. It sounds like I dislike the bike, but that's not completely true. I guess it just felt let down somewhat. The suspension system provides an ideal platform for an extremely capable downhill brawler, and it's at a good price too, despite the cockpit niggles. The bike is crying out to be stretched further. You might be sick of hearing bike reviewers harp on about the future of long and slack geometry, but it's not a phase. Longer bikes are better, and the Norco Range has such great potential if only the designers placed themselves a little further outside their comfort zone and added a tad more length to both the front and the rear. As it stands, the Range is a fun bike for the money. At £2,300, it's a good deal with well-sorted kit and a great looking frame. The bike is slack enough and it has enough travel to make light work of the gnarliest trail situations. And if your penchant is for a shorter bike, then the Range could be a good partner. Thanks very much for watching. Make sure you check out our other videos. For example, I've just taken a first look at an alloy Santa Cruz Nomad, so make sure you check it out. For a full review, go over to off-road.cc now and read my write-up on this bike. Thanks for watching.